guys, I think ACC is about to take the throne for the best racing game on PS5, and we're gonna really test this one out in this video, guys, because it's an absolutely fantastic game. The PS5 has recently had an update on ACC version 1.9, and although after some hot fixes to squash a few bugs, this is now absolutely incredibly fun to drive and incredibly immersive. The detail coming through this game is absolutely fantastic. The driving physics feels amazing, and the graphics are actually really quite good. Now coming down the mountain is absolutely intense stuff, guys, and that was close. The way the car feels to drive, you feel so connected to the car. The force feedback is incredible. So what actually is ACC? Is it a game? Is it a simulation? Is it simcade? Now I'm going to say it is very much on the side where it's a simulation. If you're playing on a controller, you're probably not going to have the best time. It's not impossible to play on a controller, but it is certainly geared up to having a great wheel. I say great, my Logitech G29 works perfectly well. A nice rig or desk clamp or a wheel stand works great. My GT Omega classic wheel stand, GT Omega RS6 seat, it gives me a great base to drive this simulation from. Although it's aimed at being a simulation, there is a career mode in it. It's quite a simple simulation of a racing career mode, so you'll go through and do the young driver program and do various different races with qualifying, free practice, 2 qualifying sessions, 2 races per track, and you go through and progress that way. It's quite a fun thing to do. It's not a fully fleshed story driven campaign as you may see in a AAA title like F1 2023 or Gran Turismo, although arguably the Gran Turismo 7 campaign was lackluster as well. This game is focused more specifically on GT3 cars. There is DLC for GT4 cars in here, but the game is very focused around GT3 racing. You also can do your own special championships where you can start a new season, choose some manufacturers, choose all the different kind of car sets, season type, sprints or endurances, weather, opponent skills. You can adjust these things to make a nice balanced championship to enjoy going through in single player racing. And I've got to say, guys, the single player AI is actually quite impressive. Quite a long way better than Gran Turismo 7 AI. You've got a lot of cars in the race, they drive very consistently, very close to you, and you have fantastic grid starts. You're not doing the chase the leader thing like Gran Turismo 7 does. You also have single player one-off events, so you can go for a practice mode, choose your car, choose your track, any assists, all the details like that. You've got your driver stats, so you can go to the ratings. This is where you get rated based on any driving you do within ACC. So you've got track competence where you earn your track medals. You've got the consistency, car control, pace, safety rating, racecraft. All of these things are measured for every single race you do in ACC. You've also got the stats from all of your circuits, so the qualifying positions, finishing positions, lap times, all that kind of good stuff. This is, I think, across the single player and multiplayer. And you also have a little bit of customization with driver helmets, driver race suit, etc, etc. I'm not going to save those changes. And you've got the 3 drivers. It is an endurance racing game. You can come in, you can do driver swaps, although technically you still drive your car, it's just the driver name changes. From the in-race kind of display HUD, you've got a bunch of things that are tunable. We can turn things on and off. There are a bunch of different views you can also use. You've got the standard cockpit with the in-car steering wheel. We've got kind of like a dash view. I'll show you some more details on this one in a moment. We've got a helmet cam, which kind of gives you the false helmet with a bit of driver kind of shake and wobble as you're going around the corners and over bumps, etc. We've got a hood cam. You may be familiar with this kind of cam from Gran Turismo 7. Again, I'm going to show you some more details on this one. A kind of bonnet cam, kind of bumper cam, I think it probably is from GT7. Chase cam and an extended chase cam. Now, for me this game feels absolutely incredible from the view I'm going to show in a second. But more than these standard views, this gives you the customization available that isn't available in Gran Turismo 7. And we can go to view settings and we can change a lot more detail than we can in Gran Turismo 7. We can go the height, the left to right of the driver. Not sure why you'd ever do that though. And put it back to 0 where it was before. Also full distance forwards and backwards. We can move the driver position forwards and backwards. I think it was on 4. Let me know in the comments if I've got that one wrong, guys. Yeah, 4. And you can change the field of view. 54 is what happens. So depending on the size of your monitor, how close the monitor is to you, and all that kind of cool stuff, you can tune this to be absolutely exactly how you want it to be, whatever feels comfortable for you. You can also turn off the wheel or the hands. You can hide the wheel completely, and you can have an on-screen HUD if some of the stuff is obscured by any of the settings you make. Go to quit and go back to drive. So the view that I have been playing with recently is this kind of dash view, because for me, I have my own steering wheel here. In front and higher is my monitor, so this is where I feel like I'm most in the car, I feel most connected to it, and it feels really quite cool. And again, you can just adjust all of the view settings. If you're coming from Gran Turismo and you want that bonnet cam, hood cam, you can customize this view and get it to be very much like the Gran Turismo one. So we can go just a little bit further back, a little bit higher maybe, change the pitch so we get the pitch down, and then you can just make it a lot more like what you'll be used to from the Gran Turismo kind of view. So we've got that Gran Turismo hood cam, so instantly you can transition between both games simulators and you will feel completely at home. Speaking of feeling at home, the way the car drives is quite a bit different in ACC compared to Gran Turismo 7. The car in ACC just feels so much more alive. The car moves around a lot more. Just get back to my normal driving view. Yeah, so from my normal driving view, guys, just the car feels so much more alive in ACC than in Gran Turismo 7. You can feel every single bump, you feel every single curb. The sound feels incredible as well. It's got a real depth to the sound. You can hear when the car bottoms out. The car just wants to move around, and it's really quite good to drive, guys. Now, an interesting thing here, it actually isn't hard to drive. It's hard to drive fast, but it's not hard to drive. You just need to take your time, be cautious. In fact, on some occasions, with TC being so useful in ACC, you can just smash the throttle on corner exit. The car will nicely drift. You can tune the TC on the fly. It's part of the kind of setup options and is very much used even by the pros in ACC. TC 1, 2, 3, maybe even a little bit more depending on the situation or the weather conditions or the track conditions, is used by all the drivers in ACC. It's definitely a tool. It mimics reality. In real life, the GT3 drivers, they will be using traction control for sure. It's just that aid that you need. And look at the graphics, guys. The graphics are really quite good, and this is very specific to the PS5 version or any of the next generation versions, because the PS4 version, what I had before when I first covered ACC on this channel, that's kind of been left behind with regard to development. I think the PS4 and PS4 Pro have really reached the limit of what they can achieve for graphical fidelity, and the PS5 version for me, guys, is a huge upgrade over the PS4 version, and it just feels so good to drive that you can feel the detail of the road coming through the steering, the way the car bounces the curves, the way the car just clatters and drops a wheel. Sun on the windscreen right now, guys. It is such a good thing to do. So bouncing over there, it's so good. And I'm not even playing with any other cars. Just being on your own, driving the track feels absolutely superb. And then you add 29 other drivers into the mix and the intensity just goes through the roof. There's a great radar available which allows you to see who's to your inside. The AI jostle for position as we've got a car to our inside there. And all of the time you're driving, you're improving your safety rating, your driver rating, even racing against AI players. It really does mean something to race against the AI rather than just in Gran Turismo 7 where they're just obstacles on the track. Here we've got this Mercedes behind looking for a move on us because the AI can be set to be very challenging indeed. Just about starting to pull them back in now. 0.9 is the gap, but honestly guys, I'm feeling like I'm on it. This is at 95% AI. The AI strength will go up to 100 and I imagine they'll be very, very difficult to beat on that strength. I mean, we're barely catching now and I'm pushing quite hard with this one, guys. That Mercedes behind us, we've not dropped him at all. I think I'm probably wide there, just about bounce there. Ooh, big mistake there. Car's wrecked. So this game is not a pushover at all. And you really need to just change your mindset when you're playing ACC. It isn't a racing game, it is a racing simulation. You're in a GT3 car that is very aggressive and ready to bite you as soon as you don't respect it anymore. And then finally we have multiplayer, probably the most lacking side of all of ACC on console, but we're going to change that. As myself, as part of Race Asylum, we're looking to host a server to allow anybody to come in and race. Register lap times, register best laps, get yourself a rating score, just constantly get some data, because at the moment it's just a case of finding a server and hopping on, and whether you take part or not, once you've done, that result is gone. It's not recorded in any way. Gran Turismo 7 does multiplayer incredibly well, but I think we as Race Asylum can host an incredible race server for you to just come in and join. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like this video. If you want to know more about ACC, let me know in the comments below, because I'm going to cover it in some more details, because I've been having a lot of fun playing ACC over the last couple of weeks. And with update 1.9 and the hot fixes to fix all the bugs there, it's incredibly fun to drive. That's going to wrap up this introduction to ACC. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you think about ACC. Are you going to try it again? Have you ever tried it before? And are you on PS5? I think ACC could be incredible. Make sure you're subscribed and we'll catch you in the next one.